Good evening, and thank you for your patience this evening. I'd like to call the March 4th board meeting to order of the Nash County Board of Education. Mrs. Melissa Dancy Smith is sitting in tonight for our superintendent who had to be away. Again, we thank you for your patience, and we'll get to the business. We will start with our Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please join in. We have Ms. Sanai Thomas-Webb, who's a freshman at Northern Nash High School, coming to lead us on this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are so thankful for Ms. Thomas-Webb. She did this for us impromptu. You can see who her twin is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Wait a minute.
Thank you again. Let's give her a hand as she turns to her seat for being such a brave soul on tonight. Thank you. All right, at this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Board Member Sharp, seconded by Dr. Chavis. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda is the approval of our last meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Board Member Sharp, seconded by Board Member Thomas Bullock. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. We are now at agenda item number 5, the recognition portion of our meeting. Mrs. Denton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
NCPS recognitions. A hero is visionary, courageous, inspirational, and embodies excellence. Honesty and integrity. Displays of principled dedication to NCPS values and beliefs, always seeks to reflect ethical standards and do the right thing regardless of who is looking. We have several recognitions this evening. Please come forward when your name is called and remain standing down front for a photo. First, we have Christy Grant. Christy is the NCPS Executive Director of EC and Student Support Services. She recently received the Distinguished Service Award for the North Carolina Council of Administrators of Special Education. Her efforts played a pivotal role in advancing the organization's mission, focusing on providing high-quality professional learning that is relevant and important to the field of special education, designed to provide world-class learning and networking to strengthen and grow the field of special education leadership. Her contributions have undoubtedly left a lasting imprint on the organization. Thank you for your exceptional service and dedication. Next, we have Leslie Taylor and Linda Carter. These ladies are from Nashville Elementary School. They are a shining example of selflessness and dedication. Many times their classrooms, the library at Nashville Elementary, is used for district functions. Their willingness to accommodate and always lend a helping hand does not go unnoticed. From arranging and rearranging tables and chairs to hooking up AV equipment, these ladies are an instrumental part of the success of these events. We truly appreciate you, and you both are definitely NCPS heroes. Vice Chair Lamb, I'm going to ask that you come up to present the last three for me. And Chair Washington, if you would stand beside me. Always be ready. You never know when you're going to be called out. Last, but certainly not least, we would like to recognize Dr. LaShonda Washington, Evelyn Bullock, and Bill Sharp. They are members of our NCPS Board of Education. The North Carolina School Boards Association offers educational opportunities to our Board of Education. These three have received certificates of achievement from the North Carolina School Boards Association Academy of School Boardsmanship for the 22-23 academic year. Dr. LaShonda Washington is receiving the Award of Excellence for completing 301 to 400 hours of training. So this is for Dr. Washington. You want to stand aside, Mr. Lamb? Mr. Bill Sharp is receiving the Certificate of Advanced Achievement for completing 201 to 300 hours. And lastly, but certainly not least, Evelyn Bullock is receiving the Scholars Circle for completing an astonishing 900 plus hours of training. Congratulations to you all.
It's an action item, so it would certainly allow for some room for discussion. I was just going to take my slides. I try not to.
All right, thank you. Let's give a round of applause to everyone that was recognized on tonight for your accomplishments. Thank you. All right, that brings us to item number 5. Item number 6 on our agenda. Public input. Each month, a part of at least one regularly scheduled board meeting will be set aside for citizens to address the board through public comment. A sign-up sheet will be available in the communications office for any individual or group to indicate their desire to address the board. Disruptions by any person or persons of a public meeting will be subject to action in accordance with General Statute 143-318.17. If anyone has further questions, please refer to Nash County Public Schools Policy number 2310. We do not have any individuals that have signed up to speak. So we will advance to item number 7, the business items. And the first item is donations. Mrs. Dancy Smith.
Dear board members, please accept this request for the following donation. Fairview Elementary School received the following donation. Omegas of Rocky Mount gave a $450 donation to be used for All Pro Dance. Sincerely, Dr. Stephen Ellis, Superintendent of Nash County Public Schools.
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we accept this graciously with much appreciation.
Second.
All right, motion was made by Dr. Chavis, seconded by Board Member Thomas Bullock. Is there any discussion? Yes.
Question, where was that money donated? That was Omega Sci-Fi Group?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Omega Sci-Fi.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried with much thanks and appreciation per Dr. Chavis and the rest of the board. All right, so now that brings us to personnel recommendation, Mrs. Wallace.
Good evening, Chair Dr. Washington, Vice Chair Mr. Lamb, present board members. The personnel recommendation report has been discussed. On behalf of Superintendent Ellis, your approval is requested at this time.
Is there a motion to approve the personnel recommendations as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Board Member Sharp for the record, seconded by Board Member Thomas Bullock. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
For the record, opposed, raise your hand for me. Motion carried. Thank you. All right, that brings us to number 8, the committee meeting reviews or reports. The first one is the Administrative Services and Operations Committee. Mr. Dunton.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Administrative Services and Operations Committee met last week. We had 2 agenda items, the demerger update, which was for informational purposes, and then we also have a RIF recommendation that is for action from the committee. With the demerger update, I won't go through the entire slideshow that was presented, but we'll open up the floor for any additional questions or comments that might need to be needed or entertained since we last met, and have Ms. Nancy Smith and staff answer those if needed. All right, again, that was just updated and presented for information only. It is certainly a fluid document as we continue to work through this. The second piece, though, is for action, and this is our reduction in force. This is not putting this into place, but presenting criteria for if and when this is needed due to demerger, what it should look like. I'll touch on just a couple of pieces for this. The first one is the rationale behind. RIFs are done due to system reorganization, whether it be the closing, consolidation, or reorganization of school buildings or facilities. 2, elimination of a curriculum offering program or school operation. Or 3, merger of 2 or more school systems. The recommendation is the superintendent shall determine which positions shall be subject to reduction by identifying positions, departments, or programs that meet criteria. The criteria is outlined for certified and classified positions, and the actual position and numbers of positions that will be RIF'd will be presented once additional data has been outlined. So again, to kind of reiterate, this is not putting it in place, but establishing the clearly defined criteria for how it would be done if and when this becomes a point during demerger. So having said that, this is a recommendation from committee to approve based on the superintendent recommendations.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
You made the motion.
You made it?
Motion made.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Dunton for the record, seconded by Board Member Sharp. Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is a good plan, but I am concerned and would like it to be addressed how it would be shared if we had to use this. Because we don't need any confusion. A lot of times stuff like this gets miseducated when shared with the public. So I would like for them to also seriously consider how they're going to introduce this if it's needed to our employees so that they're not misinformed. So that's the other piece I hope they do.
Ms. Nancy Smith, do you have answer for that or a direction as to how that would go out?
I don't want to speak for Superintendent Ellis, but in senior staff, we discussed that we wanted to be transparent, not alarm our staff, but let staff know that because of this demerger and the number of staff that we have to place, that it is quite possible that we would have to implement the reduction in force. Mrs. Wallace, is there anything else you would like to add?
Thank you.
All right, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, motion carried.
That is it for Administrative Services and Operations Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton. Moving along to Student Support Services and Operations Committee, Mrs. Thomas Bullock.
So the Student Support Services and Operations Committee met last week. We had 2 items that were information only. And I think we pretty much went over those things as a entire board. Is there any discussion or questions about that before we move on to the action items? Okay, so we had first the Conterra contract that was presented by Mr. McQueen. So at this time, I move that we accept the contract renewal as presented.
Second.
All right, motion has been made by Board Member Thomas Bullock, seconded by Board Member Lamb. Is there any discussion on the Conterra contract? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, and the second action item was presented by Ms. Christy Grant. It's the Chitter Chatter contract. So I move that we accept the Chitter Chatter contract as presented.
I'll make that motion.
There's
Just
a
a
motion on the
second.
floor. Would you second? Okay. So motion was made by Board Member Thomas Bullock, seconded by Board Member Jenkins. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
And if you don't have any other questions, then I will adjourn this portion.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. Policy Committee, Ms. Evelyn Bullock.
I think you.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more, Chad Thompson. The MOU for, oh no, I forgot it altogether. Mr. Lamb, the Academic Services and Accountability Committee, Mr. Lamb.
We have 2 action items, the field trips presented by Jeff White. And
Is
MO,
You gonna combine them or?
and combine them.
Okay.
MOU for Spring Arbor of Rocky Mount, CTE Health Science Clinicals for Rocky Mount High School, presented by Mr. Thompson. I'll make a motion to approve both.
Second.
All right, motion made by Board Member Lamb, seconded by Board Member Gray for the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you so much. Now we are at item number 11, Policy Committee, Ms. Evelyn Bullock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 6 policies that we would like to recommend tonight for final read. Those 6 policies are policy number 7130, licensure, policy 7510, leave, policy 7520, family and medical leave, policy 7730, employee conflict of interest, policy 8325, daily deposits, policy 9125, participation by minority businesses. I move that we approve these policies for final read.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made by Board Member E. Bullock, seconded by Dr. Chambers for the record. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Madam Chair, the last item that we have on the agenda is policy 4316. At our last board meeting, we were asked if the committee would look at that policy to see if there were any recommendations that we would like to bring back to the board concerning the percentage that is outlined in that policy for approval at the school level. The committee did not make any changes to the policy, so I would like to make that report to the board.
Okay. All right, is that a motion for approval?
Well, since we didn't make any changes,
That's gonna stand.
it will stand as
Gotcha.
is.
All right, any further reports from policy?
No, ma'am, that ends our report for
All right, that
tonight.
brings us, thank you, Mrs. Bullock. That brings us to item number 12, the superintendent's report.
We will spring our clocks forward Sunday. And that means that spring is a time for celebration and renewness. March 1st was Maintenance Workers Appreciation Day. March 2nd, hence our Letterland letters, Read Across America Day, which was Dr. Seuss's birthday. So find time to read your favorite book to an elementary student, a middle school student, or a young adult. March 4th, Middle School Battle of the Books was today, and it was held at Brown Auditorium. Edwards came in first place, Red Oak Middle second, and Nass Central Middle School third place. March 5th, tomorrow, is All County Chorus, 6:30 at the Dunn Center. March 6th is National School Breakfast Week. Thank you to all cafeteria workers for their efforts and hard work every day. On March 8th, Lindsey Jones, Marcy Keener, and Caroline Aycock will be presenting at the North Carolina Technology and Education Society Conference. The title of their presentation is Engaging Elementary, Utilizing Robots, Augmented Reality, and Traditional STEM Lessons to Deepen Learning. March 12th is Elementary Battle of the Books, and that will be hosted at Inglewood Baptist Church. March 14th and 15th are Teacher Work Days. On March 14th, the district will host its annual March Madness Professional Learning Series. March 20th through 22nd, Dr. Farrow and Lieutenant Ricks, one of our SRO officers, will represent Nash County Public Schools at a state conference in Wilmington. The topic is building and sustaining relationships with law enforcement and the community for a comprehensive approach to school safety. And lastly, March 2nd, our elementary students will engage in a Brick City Challenge at the Rocky Mount Event Center.
Awesome, thank you so much, Mrs. Nancy Smith. And now item number 13. I would like to encourage everyone to participate in the Read Across America opportunities throughout the district as we create and celebrate a nation of diverse readers. As always, I want to thank everyone for their hard work and dedication. Make it a wonderful and great week. There are some important dates coming up. Monday, March 25th will be our Board of Education Committee meetings at 5 p.m. Monday, April 8th will be our work session at 5 o'clock and our board meeting to follow at 6:30. If there is no further business to come before the board on this evening, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Board Member Sharp, seconded by Board Member Thomas Bullock. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Make it a great night and stay dry.